Greetings and salutations, listener. It is I, Eric J. Chucky, joined as always by the boy.
Hey.
This is the Two Nerds podcast, and I don't feel like doing the Vince McMahon impersonation. Today, we're talking about Wrestlemania.
Yeah, they got us back. They did a thing that got our $9.99.
Yeah. They sure did.
That's the easiest way of putting it. They put on a show, they put up a card that made us go, yeah, okay, we'll spend money on that.
Where to begin?
Traditionally, the beginning.
So, last year, we stopped watching halfway through WrestleMania.
Yeah, we never did a podcast on it because we didn't watch the whole show, so it didn't seem fair. And to be perfectly frank, both of us were pretty bitter at the time. So we didn't want to do a show on it because we didn't want to talk about wrestling. Because it made both of us pretty mad and pretty bitter. I don't know that we should spend too much time dwelling on it, but
I think that should be the majority of this podcast.
Well, you're wrong. But neither of us really watched wrestling at all. Did we even catch any independent shows?
Oh, yeah. We've done a couple podcasts on it. And honestly, if you guys watch every one of our podcasts, and you should, you will have pieced together
most of what we're mad about.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we've caught a couple independent shows, but I haven't watched the WWE programming at all. I have some work.
We watched Evolution or Revolution.
That's right. I forgot about that one.
Yep.
But
it felt so detached from the WWE in general, though.
Yeah, because it was its own thing. But I was more talking about like the main roster. I have some friends at work who keep me up to date, so I kind of have been kept up to date with what's been going on.
And I follow Cultaholic, so
I don't watch wrestling right now in general, so I don't watch their videos because it feels very weird to do so without watching the wrestling.
You know, it provides me a window into things.
I get that from my work friends.
Yeah.
So it was it was interesting to come back to the E after a year of absence, more or less.
Yeah. I don't know how much this is us coming back to the E. Can you expect necessarily to see every 2 weeks us watching a 5-hour pay-per-view and talking about what happened on it? I don't know about that. We'll see.
I'm not mad anymore, is the difference. I took a year, the majority of a year, to get over the things that made me mad at the main roster and all the stuff that was happening. And they did something which I never expected them to do that I found so startling and surprising that it sort of broke me out of my bitterness and let me take a look at things with fresh eyes.
You know what? I think that's true. And while there are certain things that I'm not forgiving about, there are a lot of others. I mean, I don't know why we're like dodging the elephant in the room. Last year we were upset because they buried Asuka for no real reason, and because The Undertaker came back with
For no reason.
Yeah.
And had himself a squash match
that didn't need to happen.
No.
Now, I don't want to dig too deep into it. If you would like to reach out to me on social media or in this comment section to talk further about my opinion on the matter, please go right ahead. I would love to have a conversation with one of the listeners. But suffice it to say, I don't have the fire that I had before. And also, it's not like those were the only problems.
No,
because
again, if you're someone who listens to every podcast, you will have noticed that we were kind of getting burnt out on wrestling for a long time before that.
Well, and while those may have been the proverbial straws, Brock Lesnar didn't help. Brock Lesnar was the biggest problem on Raw, and was, and may continue to be, since. Not having your champion on the show regularly damages your main event storyline.
I still get the logic. The logic is, it gives it a big fight feel when Brock Lesnar shows up.
Well, and except it pulls in Brock Lesnar fans, I mean.
Except for the fact that wrestling isn't MMA. You don't build big fights by having the two guys who are fighting not get anywhere near each other, so that to see them fight each other, you have to go to the main event. That's not how wrestling storylines work.
Yeah.
It's just not.
Unless that's the one storyline you build, but that's the storyline for the title for the last over a year.
Well over more than a year.
Yeah. God, I think we're at 2 by this point.
It's the storyline for Brock Lesnar since he came back.
Pretty much. And it's only gotten worse and worse as time has gone on. To the point that, like, and we've made the point before, you know, what does this end in? Does the person who finally beats Brock Lesnar get Titanic heat? No.
No. It ultimately ended with a whimper.
And then him picking the title back up, and then another whimper.
Yep.
But it is what it is. There have been a lot of changes that have happened, and the biggest thing that brought us back was Kofi Kingston getting a shot at the WWE Championship.
I actually, you know how I think I've made this joke on the podcast before, I never tweet. I actually made a tweet. My Twitter had a tweet on it, in that I specifically told Kofi the reason I got the network back was because he got a match, and it's fully true.
I've mentioned it to him and Austin, Xavier Woods before.
It's the only reason I want the network. It's the only reason I bothered to get the network back. It's the only reason I bothered to watch the show.
And like, this isn't some newfound, and not that it belittles the idea of us being happy for Kofi and being interested in WWE supporting somebody who isn't what they'd usually put in the main event. But I have been pulling for Kofi for a long time. You guys can go back to previous podcasts, and those who know me in real life, I've been saying for years that he deserves to have a main event.
Same. Same. I have been mad that he hasn't won pretty much every Royal Rumble he's been in since he started doing the Kofi Kingston is good at the Royal Rumble thing. Look, the dude just has deserved a shot for a long time.
Yeah.
And he's part of I would say probably the best stable of the modern era. Like,
yeah, I was thinking about that earlier. These guys are this generation, if you want to put it that way, is equivalent to Generation X.
Yeah, they're PG and they're goofy, but they're
DX was goofy. They were just PG-13.
Yep. That's the difference.
It's just...
and Big E pushes the line sometimes.
So does Xavier Woods.
I don't know what you're talking about.
They are definitely the biggest thing to happen to wrestling. The best stable.
The best stable, and you know what? This is something, of people who listen to the podcast. You might realize that I was something of a fan of the Shield. I like them. I never bought Shield merch. I bought a New Day shirt last night. It's the first WWE merch I've bought since I was like 11. It says something.
Yeah.
These guys, they feel real. They feel like they've actually had to overcome some shit to get to the big time. And that resonates, man.
It really does. I look forward to what's happening next. By the time of recording this, and obviously by the time you're listening to it, Raw has already happened. I have a rough idea of what occurred. Nothing was too objectionable.
I don't know anything about what occurred on Raw because I just didn't happen to catch it today.
They didn't do anything completely stupid. They did some stuff that was boring, and Mark Calloway will holler for $1. What else is new? But let's do the traditional thing, and let's not stay here as long as fucking WrestleMania. Let's get into the card rundown.
We would have to be really fucking slow.
We'd have to go like fucking
that show was 12 hours long. That show should have had 2 intermissions and a nap break. Look, I know there was a Baron Corbin match, but that's not what I mean.
We didn't watch a pre-show because...
Hey, this listener, we don't watch a pre-show. We established this already. Move on.
Ironically, this is the first time I kind of wouldn't have minded watching the pre-show.
Yeah, it looks like it was fine, but they always look fine.
They had 2 battle royals.
Good. Yay.
That's cool. I was curious to see what happened with Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder, too.
They won, right?
They did.
Yeah, good for them.
Yeah, Tony Nese beat Buddy Murphy for the Cruiserweight Championship.
Hey, they beat the Revival. Better for them.
Yeah,
Fuck the Revival.
Fuck the Revival. Although Dash Wilder and his heavy hands, he's a good boy.
Yes, sir.
Braun Strowman defeated Saturday Night Live in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. I assume it was just the entire cast and Braun Strowman. That's the only people in the match. And Carmella eliminated Sarah Logan, who eliminated Asuka.
Given how seriously they take the people in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, you're basically right.
Good for those guys. I hope they got a WrestleMania paycheck.
That's what that match exists to do.
Yep.
It exists to do that and be the Royal Rumble that the big guy actually gets to win. That's what it's for.
So let's groove right on to the card itself.
Yeah, guess who was jerking the curtain tonight?
It's Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, the all of the Paul Heyman shtick. I'm not doing it.
I like chanting and repeating stuff, but I am, at this point, 24 hours removed from WrestleMania. I'm not quite as lit as I was. And honestly, the nap that occurred after fucking Kofi and Daniel Bryan was more than enough.
It really wasn't those. It wasn't all those matches' fault, though. We'll get to that.
No, it wasn't.
We will get to that. Let's cover them.
Let's go down the line here. So, Seth Rollins punked out Brock Lesnar.
I mean, he had himself a Brock Lesnar match. It lasted 2 minutes and 30 seconds. So he didn't beat him quite as fast as fucking Goldberg did, but
it wasn't vicious. It wasn't brutal.
No, every Brock Lesnar match lasts less than 5 minutes because that's what Brock Lesnar's willing to give you for his bajillion dollars, and you're willing to accept that, Vince. There's a term I would call you, but it's not Two Nerds Podcast appropriate.
I can only speculate. I'm glad Seth beat Brock, because maybe it means Brock is going away for a while.
Yeah, go do MMA. You're really good at MMA. You're genuinely good at beating the fuck out of people.
Lift up cows, man. Hunt.
Push car into ground until there is no car. Whatever it is you do for fun. But just
Sable.
I mean, assumably, yeah. Just do it elsewhere, where I can't see you.
Yeah, let other people be things. And I'm not, greedy Brock Lesnar. It's fucking, he is literally just a guy getting a paycheck. Yeah, please stop being around to tempt Vince McMahon to put the title on you.
I'm not mad at you for stacking your paper, Broccoli Lesnarton. I'm not mad at you for trying to get yours. I'm just fucking tired of seeing you.
Or not seeing you, as the case typically is.
But still having to deal with the miasma of you.
I'll say this for Brock Lesnar being around. It sure made the Intercontinental Championship feel more important.
That's fair. There's not much to talk about this match. We've literally talked about this match about as long as it existed. So, moving swiftly along to AJ Styles versus Randy Orton for reasons.
Yep. We didn't watch these builds. I heard about them in breadcrumbs from
Twiddell. They didn't give me a video package for this, okay? They're just fighting.
You like both of these men. Here they are.
Fighting. And they had a good fight.
Yeah, I like it.
They had themselves a good wrestle fight. The story of the match was Randy Orton has the RKO, and he can come out of nowhere, which is the story of a Randy Orton match. And then AJ Styles doing hijinks to try and not get RKO'd. It was fun.
Yeah, I liked it.
Didn't overstay its welcome. 16 minutes, in and out. Good match. They gave him some solid time. I was happy with it.
Yeah, AJ Styles won. I don't know if we said that.
Yeah, okay, sure.
I'm kind of fading in and out.
It didn't really matter who won the match to me.
Or anyone else, I don't think. Good for AJ Styles.
It was a good finish. Exciting.
Yeah, I liked it all. It was kind of quality match. Then we had the Super Kick Party. A fatal four-way tag team match for the WWE SmackDown Tag Team Championship.
Which, as I understand it, was a punishment match in relation to the main event feud, which is a really cool tie-in. Like, in relation to the main event of SmackDown, the Kofi Kingston, Daniel Bryan match. Which, the build, you guys can look up this build. Other people will do a better job summarizing it than I'm gonna.
Build good.
Build very, very good.
Out of everything going into this pay-per-view, that was the best build.
Well, I also, when we get to that match, I fully plan on going long on that match, so...
Coolest of beans.
But as a relation to this build, the Usos did did a solid stand-up thing, and so Vince punished them for it by putting them in a big match where they could lose the titles without being pinned and all that.
I think it was Alexa.
Might have been Alexa, sure.
I guess she had power.
Okay, yeah. They didn't show a video package for it except as a very small side bit of the later match.
And they didn't even actually show the Usos part in that.
No, they didn't. I've kind of got it from sugar packets.
Yeah. I mean, this is what happens when you don't put Raw and SmackDown on the network.
I mean, they do. It's just like 4 months after the fact or something.
It's a long, I think, like a year.
Sorry, dude. Cable company's got to get theirs.
Yeah, well, not for me.
Nope.
So that was the bar. Aleister Black and Ricochet, Rusev and Shinsuke Nakamura, and of course the Usos.
Hey, Ricochet didn't spend too much of the map annoying me. That's good. I didn't expect that.
He's a capable wrestler. He just.
I've only ever seen the most mimetic of his matches.
Yeah.
And I did not enjoy it.
No, well, and that is in part due to his opponent, and like. It's one of those situations where you get two people. Look, Stone Cold in his prime could wrestle a great technical match. But if you're going to put Stone Cold and The Rock in a match against each other, you're not going to get a technical masterpiece. You're going to get two dudes beating the shit out of each other.
That's fair. It was actually really, really well done.
Yeah, everything was really fast-paced. It was hard to tell who was legal. Apparently that factored into the decision because the wrong Uso won. But...
it was a little hard to tell who was legal, but that happens with Fatal 4-Way Tag Team matches a lot. Notably, it doesn't happen with a later one in this very show, but I feel like that's more of to that match's credit than it is to this match's detriment. Well, that's pretty much par for the course.
Like, I don't know. The Usos are kind of hard to tell apart.
Yeah, they're twins.
I mean, yeah. I know they have, like, marks, tattoos, and different hairstyles.
They dress differently.
They dress slightly differently, but in the middle of a wrestling match, trying to keep track of 90 guys, you're like, oh, one of the Usos are legal.
I mean, yeah, in the kayfabe of the WWE,
out of the kayfabe, I didn't notice.
Yeah, no, me neither.
And I love the Usos.
Yeah, whatever, sure, great.
I'm happy they won.
But it was super fun. It was a fun match. Didn't know again.
Rusev. My buddy.
Handsome Rusev.
Fucking handsome Rusev. Ah, man! Fucking gets kicked out in 2, sits straight up, and literally just goes, ah, man! Oh, killing it out there.
They did the longest spin. The big Cesaro spin. I'm pretty sure Ricochet vomited afterwards, or at least probably should have, or passed out.
If he's gonna spin anyone, Ricochet's probably.
You know what? This is it. This is the thing Ricochet's been training for all these years.
You spun me real good, Claudio. Pat, you spun me real good.
Happy to help you live your dream.
Yeah, that was a solid match.
The Usos won. Right call.
Yeah, like I said, I'm really
I would have been happy with any of these teams winning except... No, not really except. I would have been happy with any of these teams winning.
I don't think the bar needs the spotlight anymore.
I like them. I like those men.
I do.
I'm happy if they get the spotlight.
Sure.
Even if they don't need it. Usos is the team I would have picked if I was booking. The next team I would have picked is probably Aleister Black and Ricochet just because they're the new hotness.
Yeah.
But Usos is the right call.
Yeah.
So, yeah, good job. Great.
They can keep the titles almost as long as the New Day, for all I care.
Yeah, only almost, though.
Next, we had the grudge match between the greatest wrestler in the world, Shane McMahon.
And the greatest promo in the mid-card, The Miz.
False Count Anywhere match for the right to kiss Miz's dad, I think.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure it was for the custody of Rey Mysterio's son.
He was involved in the build-up to this show.
Yeah.
I'm fucking not even joking.
Great! Great! Good bringing that back.
This was a pretty good match, too. Kudos.
Yeah, I mean, Shane has literally never learned a working punch. And I think at this point just fully doesn't intend to. The dude serves up just fucking starch, beginning to end of every match that he's in.
But this was cool. They did a lot of good false count anywhere spots. The Miz's dad, he was a good hard dad man.
Oh god, it was so hard. It was heartwarming. It was Mrs. Dad came out looking like the most dad in the world.
Maybe it's just the fact that we live in Ohio, and so we have seen many dads of exactly this configuration.
He's the daddest dad. With his mustache.
And his 70s hair.
And his glasses. But Shane O'Mac was
That's a man who thinks he knows a lot about cars.
Oh, you didn't have to come for him like that. Shane O'Mac didn't do him that dirty. But Shane was doing his son a bad beat-up, so he came out and put up his dukes. And there was this beautiful moment where Shane, walked up to him and, raised his fists a little.
Fixed his stance and then
Oh.
beat the shit out of him anyway.
God. Oh, and there was actually a really good moment. Miz's dad, better actor than The Miz. I haven't seen the Marine 6. Whatever. He goes back to check on his dad after he is revived from his beatdown and beats up Shane and knocks him away. He goes back to check out his dad, and you can visibly see the dad go get him.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's good.
That's good.
That's ring awareness. He knew where the camera was, man.
Beautiful stuff.
Better actor than The Miz. That's where he gets it from.
Fantastic action. Fantastic finish. I really liked the big superplex, which I feel was, perhaps not intentionally, but well foreshadowed by the superplex in Randy Orton versus AJ Styles.
Yeah, because they did a good superplex, and then Shane McMahon and The Miz literally upstaged them. They went higher up the stage, and then they did a bigger superplex. And then Shane McMahon won by dying.
Yeah, because of the way a superplex works, he pinned The Miz.
Which was a great moment of wrestling commentary that I want to highlight. I forget who it was, because there was 12 commentators, and I'm not keeping track.
Oh, they kept switching everybody out, too, yeah.
But someone mentioned that when you do a superplex, you cradle the opponent's head, because wrestling isn't a murder competition. So,
tell that to Triple H.
Yes, it's good foreshadowing. I think it may have actually been Corey Graves.
I think it might have been. Oh,
which,
shit.
by that result, means that if you just land and don't move, technically the opponent's pinning you. Which I like a lot.
Yeah, now that Shane is actually a heel.
Shane is instantly a billion times less annoying if he's a heel.
Yeah, all this stuff seems like great booking.
Yeah, he just becomes your standard operating McMahon.
Yeah, I like it. Next up is the other Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match. My little Lucha heart is ka-thumping. It's not quite trios. It's not quite Lucha Libre rules, but
we'll take what we can get.
Yeah, I definitely had that vibe.
The new Mega Powers, I'm renaming them because their name sucks. Bayley and Sasha Banks. Nia Jax and Tamina, Beth Phoenix and Natalya, and the Iconics, not renaming them, their name is great, have themselves a fatal 4-way for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship.
This match was not as good.
It was easier to tell who was legal.
That is true. And I had some good spots. There was
a couple blown spots, but, I mean, that's to be expected sometimes.
It was
nothing I remember in specific. So
I thought Tamina looked really good, and she wrestled well as well. I was glad to see Beth Phoenix and Natalya working together. I wish Beth were going to stick around because I think that's a team that's got a lot of legs.
I wish Beth Phoenix was going to stick around just because I really fucking like Beth Phoenix.
Yeah, she's awesome, and I think the right women won.
Yeah, the Iconics is a good choice. I would have chosen them, or if Beth Phoenix was sticking around, Beth Phoenix and Natalya.
Sure. I think they did the right thing in putting on Bayley and Sasha Banks in the first place. I never.
Oh yeah, that we talked about this right after the match. You have to put it on someone. It doesn't matter if they're the best tag team. The first tag team who wins has to be people with names. And has to be people who can legitimize the new titles. And they did that. They chose two of their main eventers and they put the titles on them to legitimize the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship. as a thing with prestige, as a thing worth going after, because the big, the big names in that division go after it.
Yeah.
Smart call.
Yep.
And then when you move it off them, to a solid team that works well together, who can hold it for a long time, and then establish more pedigree. And the Iconics is the right call there.
Yeah. Two very talented women who have finally taken the Lay Cool gimmick and done it well.
In a way that doesn't bother me.
Sure.
I'll put it like that. Because I have met actual real life humans who loved Lay Cool. Specifically.
Yeah, it just was so obnoxious.
It was designed to bother me. This isn't. This is designed to bother the version of me which is 19 right now.
But that bridges right into the match. They bought the show for.
The match. The reason I came back and watched the WWE main roster event again.
Samoa Joe versus Rey Mysterio for the United States Championship.
No. I'm not even doing the bit. Kofi Kingston versus Daniel Bryan for the WWE Championship is what wrestling is supposed to be. It is a fucking amazing match, and I defy you to try and tell me otherwise.
It was well paced. It was well wrestled. The emotion was there. Eric Rowan and Xavier Woods and Big E, no last name needed, all did their part in selling the
story of the match.
They
didn't overstay their welcome. They didn't get too involved. Both good things. And you got to remember, you got to keep in mind, I knew this match was a thing, which is why I bought the network, but I didn't watch the build to this. I didn't watch the build up to this match. What I actually watched of WWE programming was the video package before this match and this match. And the emotion of this match told the story as well as it needed to get me completely, literally edge of my seat into it.
That video package was really well put together. I've been following this, so I had the beat by beat as it has unfolded. But
I hadn't been specifically because, all right, I'm going to keep it real with you, listener. I didn't fucking think they'd do it. I didn't believe them.
Well, and this is basically the reason we didn't have the network a month ago when this started seeming realer.
I didn't believe they'd do it. I did not believe them. I did not think there was a shot in hell that they'd actually give Kofi Kingston his dues. And I was wrong. And I'm so fucking happy about it. But that's why I hadn't been following it directly. I didn't want the disappointment. I didn't want to get hyped for this and then be disappointed. I'd been following it secondhand. You and people I talked to at work had been telling me about it, and I said, if it starts to look like this is an actual thing that might happen and that he has a snowball's chance in hell of winning, I will get the network and I will watch the show. And it looked like that. I was getting all reports that looked like he might actually win, so I bought in. I watched the thing they provided to me on Wrestlemania. No more, no less. And it was just amazing work. By both men, by the guys who made the video package, by everybody.
Yeah. This was one of the best crafted wrestling storylines that stayed consistently good throughout in the last decade.
Yeah, I don't think that's a controversial statement at all. The match itself was well wrestled.
Yeah.
One of the things, all right, so I'm a bit of a Triple H apologist. I will, at length, talk about how I really like Triple H. I really think he's good. One of the reasons I think Triple H is good is that Triple H has really solid match psychology. He tells the story of the match. The matches that Triple H is in and in charge of have a clear through line to them. And the people have a clear through line as to what they're trying to sell. Kofi Kingston and Daniel Bryan did exactly that. Early on in the match. And the commentators also deserve special mention because they were absolutely on point.
Once again, Corey Graves.
Corey Graves was fucking doing the Lord's work in this match. He was selling exactly the thing the men in the ring were selling. He was doing what JR says that commentary is supposed to do.
The thing that Michael Cole fucks up so consistently, and why, despite his status as a tenured member of the roster and Vince McMahon's sock puppet, makes him not the best commentator.
Even though I, at this stage of my life, have a lot of affection for Kodos. I do, because he's been around a long time, essentially. Corey Graves was doing fucking astounding work. He was doing Jim Ross level commentary during this match. He was selling exactly what the wrestlers were trying to get across in the ring, providing lyrics to the music that the wrestlers provide, and it was fucking phenomenal. I could rude metaphor this match for a long time because it was really good. It literally, actually IRL had me sitting on the edge of my seat, and they picked the right guy won. Kofi Kingston is the WWE champion.
Yeah, I don't want to wax too much at length about this. Apparently there was a lot of bullshit that happened around at the time. We watched the show on a 2-hour delay. We were on social media lockout. But apparently, if you were following along, the WWE shop put up those shirts about half an hour early.
That's your fault for going to www.shop.com in the middle of WrestleMania, you morons.
Or on social media, for that matter.
Yeah, you go on social media lockout. You don't live tweet WrestleMania. That's asking for spoilers.
Well, and shit, if you're gonna live tweet WrestleMania, stay on your Twitter and don't hit refresh.
Or
it's possible.
Or make your fucking peace.
Yeah.
It's a scripted show. Sometimes shit happens.
Yep.
I'm not even sorry. I got the good version of this match because I'm smarter than you.
I mean, yeah, that's what a shitty thing to say, but also true.
Oh yeah, it's really shitty of me.
Got Marge Simpson reaction gif.
What is it? He's right, but he shouldn't say it.
Something like that.
I'd say, honestly, it's your own fault. It is your own fault for, at this point in our society, for going online
during a thing you care about.
During a thing you care about really deeply. All right, let me ask you: the fucking series finale of Game of Thrones. You gonna fucking open Twitter during it? No, you're not. You're not, you moron. We both know you're not.
No, they're gonna open Twitter during it, and they're gonna be live tweeting it, and they're gonna be mad when something gets spoiled, because that's how we as creatures work. We are entitled shitheads. And,
that's fair.
Last night, these entitled shitheads got what they wanted, and that's fine.
Yeah, I was an entitled shithead. I will own it. I only got the network because Kofi was in this match. I only bought WWE merch because Kofi won. I was voting with my wallet. I was being an entitled little shit. And you know what? I don't care. Don't care at all.
Yeah,
I win. I get what I want. I'm Batista.
Praise Batista.
Praise Dave B.
So we could go on about this match for a long time.
I genuinely could. But I'm not. Let's move along. We're already at our time limit, so this is all gravy now. Hey, much like the show.
Yeah. It wasn't just us. The whole fucking crowd deflated after this. At the time, I joked, what a great WrestleMania and a Raw that followed. But now I think it's more like, what a great WrestleMania, and then, I don't know, like Fastlane or something. Because that was fucking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 matches. That's a fucking pay-per-view card.
Yeah. Well, the show was 5 goddamn hours long.
Yeah.
But after, all right, so you don't put, like, if you don't put on the main event in the middle of the show. I understand, the women's evolution, very important. I'm happy for the ladies. I really like Becky Lynch. I'm really happy. Spoilers for this, in case you're doing this before WrestleMania, you moron. I'm happy Becky Lynch won, but you were never going to fucking follow this match.
Well, I think, I have my theories, and I know you weren't watching the build, so it's hard for you to know, but I think if this weren't an overbooked piece of shot, that is shit snot, that I've just invented just now, that was the dumbest thing I've said in a while, and I did it fully intentionally, and like halfway through, my brain was like, bail, idiot, and I sure didn't. But no, the whole fucking storyline got so overbooked. There were unnecessary twists and turns that just felt tedious. And someone effectively gave Ronda Rousey a live mic. And Ronda
Which is
Rousey,
just never a good call.
No, is not good at being cool.
But, like, and don't get me wrong, I liked the actual main event. I did.
Sure,
I thought it was a fun match.
It was a good match. I think that, and the other problem is this pay-per-view is way too stacked on the front end. You need to move one of those tag matches, and Shane McMahon versus The Miz, or AJ Styles versus Randy Orton, down to the second half of the show.
And
put fucking Baron Corbin and Kurt Angle and fucking
put Baron
Finn Balor and
Corbin,
Bobby Lashley up top.
Switch Baron Corbin, switch the waiter at Waffle at like Cheesecake Factory versus Kurt Angle. Switch that with AJ Styles versus Randy Orton. Just do that.
Sure,
and I think you might be in better shape.
You might have been in better shape because fucking the crowd took a nap. Smojo versus Rey Mysterio
lasted literally a minute because Rey was injured.
Yeah, and that's fine.
And
you
can't get around that shit.
Rey was dressed as Mysterio,
which is great.
That's fine.
That's great, but he was injured. You can't get around it. That shit happens.
Even the look on his face after the match was just like, oh well.
Then Roman Reigns came back and did his I beat leukemia and now I'm going to beat Drew McIntyre because Drew McIntyre said that even though I beat leukemia, I wouldn't beat him. God bless you, Drew McIntyre, for saying that shit with a straight face. You said that line. That came out of your mouth and then you didn't immediately bust up laughing. God bless you, you beautiful soul. Roman wins because, of course, he was going to fucking win this match. He just went in remission from leukemia. What?
Also, this honestly feels like the reset from the fucking Roman Reigns, Batista, Daniel Bryan, nonsense that all occurred. This show was like releasing a breath we've been holding, and also
for like
Brock Lesnar.
5 years.
Yeah, just like Roman Reigns gets to be a face on his own merits and isn't being written for so heavily. Fucking Drew McIntyre is being taken seriously. Good for him.
This you're right. This feels like a reset to a. I don't like to. It's a little pompous to say new era, but it feels like a reset to like a new chapter.
Yeah, I feel like things are moving along. This is opening that new book, new the new era, the way they do things. This deserves a new title, as it were.
I think so too. And given some talks about new shows and ratings for those new shows, we might be looking at a new chapter too.
Oh, we're gonna see the TVY7.
No, Fox. I think some branch of Fox is taking on SmackDown.
Yeah, it's Fox,
and they don't want a PG show.
Could be cool.
They have specifically said we don't want PG wrestling. Give us the cool stuff.
There'll be dicks in it.
Sure, why not? I'll see Seth Rollins' normal-sized penis.
Perfectly regular. And good for him. So my big boy Davey B. I figured when you said you wanted to move on or not, say something.
Yeah, I do want to say. I heard I haven't looked online about this much, or at least I looked a little, but I haven't seen this. Some people shitting on the Triple H Batista match.
Yeah. That's our next contest.
It was fine.
It was fine.
Why are you mad?
The old mans were a bit tired, but they hid that as best they could.
They're old mans. They're old people.
This was the most meme-worthy fucking match.
Yeah, there were so many. It was fun.
Triple H spent 2 minutes gently hugging his hammer. And 20 seconds where the hammer was his penis. No fucking joke. Had it riding coming out of the dick place on his little tights. Gripping it with both hands.
Looking at the screen
making
like
an O face.
Looking at the screen like, you know what this is about. This is me. This is my time. This is my hammer dick. Like he fucking fully Dr. Horrible sing-along blogged it, just leaned in, the hammer is my penis.
Fucking Corey Graves through this whole match, losing his mind.
Doing like, he went from like JR to Jim Cornette. It was amazing.
And then like absolute despair.
Like, because he was reacting like a real human to this complete cartoon happening in front of us. Triple H is acting like mid-2000s Triple H, and thus a certifiably criminally insane danger to those around him. And he's reacting to it like you would if, like, your manager at an Arby's started doing this.
If Baron Corbin started doing
Yeah. Just pointing. The line that will stick with me, I think, until my grave is, "That's my boss!"
It was a fun bout.
Contrasted by Shawn Michaels being like, I don't really think about it because we're really good friends, but man, he's really scary. Oh, he pulled out Batista's nose ring with a pair of pliers, and
What great foreshadowing is that? Batista shows up, why's he got this weird, stupid new nose ring? It's blue, we like Blutista, whatever. What happens in the match? Gorgeous.
All a build up to that moment. Excellent work,
Also,
guys.
I guess, thanks to Cultaholic, Triple H's mom was in the front row, like, giggling madly as he's going to town on Batista with various tools. So it's good to know that runs in the family.
Yeah, I see where Triple H gets it. Okay. Man, Greenwich is a bad town.
It's the mean streets.
It's the mean streets of Greenwich. Dude, the Mean Street Policy wasn't kidding, dude.
This was a fine, goofy match. It was fun. Triple H had a big, silly Immortan Joe entrance.
I wanted to mention specifically that our roommate, who does not watch pro wrestling and never really has, walked in basically at the end of Roman Reigns Drew McIntyre, and he caught the whole Triple H Batista match. And by God, if you think this match was stupid or overdone or whatever, grab someone who doesn't watch pro wrestling and show them this match, because I got to see this match through the beautiful, childlike whimsy of my roommate watching Triple H pull out a man's nose ring with a pair of needle nose pliers. And watching him just go, as it's happening, filled my soul with joy. And you can't take that away from me, Internet. I'm sorry, it's mine, and you don't get it. And then we watch Kurt Angle fight a guy who works at Ruby Tuesdays. So
he's really excited to tell you about their new apps. Like, you couldn't have made it seem, and this was part of the work, I'm sure, but you couldn't have made it seem more like Baron Corbin was not actually fighting Kurt Angle.
Like, yeah, he so much so that they actually memed it in the middle of the match because everyone wanted to be Cena, and Baron Corbin mocked those people in the middle of the match to work the smarts. Excellent work, by the way.
Yeah, it was great.
Oh, speaking of, John Cena showed up. We forgot that. That happened at some point before this.
There was a John Cena and a Hulk Hogan and a whole Hall of Fame.
It was great. It was super fun.
People
John
were
Cena
there.
came out dressed as the New York Yankees. That's a good callback.
Did Punk?
Yeah, that is a callback like 6 years in the making.
You know, and
wow.
I could see fucking like dead-eyed Cena in the mirror. Cena, we want you to come out to antagonize Elias. I want to be dressed as Babe Ruth.
I want to do the Dr.
I
Thugonomics
need
gimmick,
to be-
and I need you to do an uncut entire New York Yankees game before I come out.
Why? It's what I deserve.
Or I'll go back to China.
Fucking Haunted Cena.
We'll do 5 minutes of an uncut Yankees game.
Haunted Cena is my favorite fucking Cena. Just fucking looking upon his works and despairing. I would love for him, like, next pay-per-view to come in, AA someone, and look down and just look real haunted and pick up the mic and be like, now we're all sons of bitches, and drop it. And
Crazy John Cena, best wrestling character of all. This is the beginning. He came out in a Yankees jersey after like what is an entire Babe Ruth highlight reel, nearly uncut. This is the start. This is the beginning
of Crazy John Cena.
He thinks it's 2002. He could be forgiven for thinking it's 2002 because Triple H fought Batista and Kurt Angle was in a match. But like, Kurt Angle lost because he's classy.
Yeah.
I guess.
He put over Baron Corbin, went out on his back.
When I was back, hey, Mean Mark Callis, maybe take a look. I guess you need lessons from Kurt fucking Angle.
I mean, hey, one of those guys won a bunch of shit with broken freaking stuff.
Yeah, one of those guys has actual principles.
Speaking of people with few principles, Lio Rush accompanied Bobby Lashley to the ring.
Bobby Lashley's new look, infinite better than the weird headband and the happy smile. No, weird contacts, a scowl, no headband. That dude looks 10 times more legit.
I don't think those contacts are permanent. I think he went back to his soulful brown eyes.
Boo! I like the contacts. Go back to the contacts.
It was a good look. I made him look fierce. Maybe get him some false teeth.
No, that's too far. Then he looks like
now.
Then he looks like that one lichen.
What if
like Gravane or whatever from Underworld?
What if Finn Balor infected him with the demon, and now he's got?
Well, see, now it's cool again.
Yeah. See? Give me the fucking book. Anyway, this match was 4 minutes.
Finn Balor came out dressed really cool, but also kind of like the Boogeyman's nephew.
He face paint did have a really strong Boogeyman vibe. And a Rob Zombie drawing on his back. I'm not sure what was up with that.
He was having a good time.
I guess,
he wins. He wins the Intercontinental title. Yay. Or already had it. I forget.
No, he won it.
Okay.
Well, he had it before. And
blah, 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 blah.
Anyway.
Main event.
This was okay.
This was a perfectly fine match. There's some speculation online that the end of it was a botch of some description, that either Becky wasn't supposed to win right then, or she was supposed to win off Charlotte and they messed that up, or Ronda wasn't supposed to get her shoulder up. I don't believe that last one, because if it was the last one, they really wouldn't have replayed it.
You never know.
Yeah, they might have decided to call an audible.
You remember when Vince came down to the ring and tore both of his quads?
Oh, I'm laughing at his pain.
Sometimes they just do stuff and roll with it because they don't know what the fuck else to do.
I mean, look, if the idea was to put Charlotte in the match so Becky could beat Charlotte so Ronda could continue to #look strong, then making it a different dusty finish where Ronda had her shoulder up and the ref didn't notice still makes Ronda look strong. It completes the same goal. So I could see why they would run with it, even if it was an accident.
Sure. I mean,
sometimes shit happens, guys.
Shit happens.
It was a cool finish. Becky Lynch gets to be the double champion. Whatever, I don't care. Becky Lynch rules.
There were a lot of good spots. Charlotte Flair was actually trying.
Which means she was one of the best wrestlers on the roster, at bar none. Charlotte Flair she's a Flair. She's absurdly fucking talented. And when she's trying, it's a beauty to watch. Becky Lynch was as good as always. Ronda Rousey, as long as she wasn't talking, was doing great, actually. She's really developed a style. It's gone from looking like she doesn't know what the fuck she's doing.
And she's trying so hard not to hurt these weak children.
To looking like an actual wrestling style.
Yeah.
She's developed really fast, and I'm actually sort of proud for her, but...
Then she says things like...
Yeah, then she opens her fucking mouth!
Tables are for bitches.
Bitches, that's why you like tables!
Look, the announce team was like, what the fuck?
Guys, Ronda, look, not everyone is good thinking off the cuff. I know I'm not, but... Oh boy, you gotta do better than that! You gotta do better than tables are for bitches. That's why you like that. That is a literal playground insult.
I really want to see like that footage being played and Kevin Owens kneeling down doing the thinking Magic the Gathering ass crack pose.
God, I can see it. Oh no!
I think that's it. I think you need to say the words that are in the podcast.
Oh, everything's better when nerds talk about it.